God is communicating to me and He's telling me, yeah, now I've called you into full-time ministry, and you need to talk to Auntie Carol. You need to talk to them and Pastor Rick. To the people. Yes, and I was like, I don't want to talk. I want to talk to them when I have a plan.
Figured out something.
Yes, when I have figured out something. So I shared with my friends whom I felt I can control. So there were two of my friends, Becky Brogden, if you know her.
Yeah, I know Becky.
Yeah,
she's like you.
Yeah. So I shared with her. I told her, this is what is happening, but don't you dare tell anyone. And in my own time, I'll tell Auntie Carol, but don't you dare. And he's calling me, but he's calling me into full-time ministry, and I'm thinking I should do this. I had my own plans. I had my things. When he called me, I had my way of doing ministry. This is what now he's called me into ministry, so this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I'm going to do, and this is how I'm going to raise money to do this, and this is how I'm going to sustain myself. And I told her, so don't tell anyone. And she was like, okay, I'll pray. And then the next one was Odilia. Yes, you know Odilia. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, they're the one. Those are my friends whom I felt I can control. I can tell, don't tell anyone. I've told you, but don't tell anyone. Yeah. But then me, I have my own way of doing. But I have my own. He's calling me, and this is how I'm feeling. It's like, no, what I'm telling him, and no, but don't tell anybody. Just pray and don't tell anybody. And I trusted they wouldn't tell anyone. They would just pray. And I kept telling God, just wait. I'll go tell Auntie Carol later. In fact, I think I wanted to go with the whole. He's called me plan. And this is what because I didn't know. I was wondering now, how will it work? How do you just say yes? How is my life going to be? So anyways, I told you I had three things that I really God had really to make clear with me. One was the pension. Yes. So those nights when I would be tossing and turning, then I would be telling God, okay, yeah, I know you're calling me into full-time ministry. You see, you know why the university is good, and you're the one who got me that job. It's true. Even the way I got that job, it was miraculous. Yes. So I told him, so you see, they give us a pension. Yeah. And then God asked me a question. He told me, yeah, it's good. I got you this job, and you have a pension. So where would you rather put your hope? Or which one do you trust more? A pension scheme or the one who holds your future? He tells me, they'll give you a pension, but I have your future. So I was like, oh, definitely the one who has my future. He told me, no, yeah, the pension
or the one who holds your future. But still, you may not even enjoy the pension.
Yes, or they don't even know. I may not even,
Normally, we think we know better than God.
Yes. But he just asked me, he told me, they are offering you pension, but I hold your future. It's me who knows what your future is. So where would you rather be? With someone who will give you a pension when you retire, or the one who holds your future? I was like, oh, actually.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. No, if you have my future, then you're better than a pension scheme. I'd rather trust you.
Tick.
Okay, yeah. Then we continued debating, and I'm like, wait, God, wait.
Come back.
In this university, we have a medical cover. Then God just asked me a question, and he was like, you have a medical cover. Great. How often do you use the cover? And I was like, actually, I have good health. I can see a doctor once a year. So he's like, so where does that health come from?
Who gives you the health?
Yeah, who gives you the health? Yeah, so these are the encounters I was having with God.
See, from experience, I'm reminded of Job. Job is asking God these questions. He wants answers. God, instead of bringing answers, he brings more questions.
Oh, yeah.
And at the end of the questions, Job is saying, I had heard about you, but now I've seen you.
Yeah, it's true. And so God is like, where does that health come from? And I'm also debating with God. I'm telling him, okay, I really thank you. I thank you. Actually, yeah, we are on a medical cover, but I don't use it. Then I was like, but God, it just feels safe. Yeah, it just feels safe to know that in case I fall sick, I'm covered. So God asked me a question. He asked me, so where then, which one do you trust more? A medical cover or the one who holds your health? I'm the one holding your health, but these ones are giving you a medical cover. So which one do you choose? I was like, yeah, actually, yeah, the health. Yeah, if you're the one who's holding my health, that's better than a cover.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that one down the line. Okay, then now, the last one. I was like, Lord, you know how friendly, my job was friendly. You know, I had been in that department from the time I was employed. I had been there for over 15 years. I had been in IT department. You know, it was my home. Yes, it was my comfort zone. I was comfortable. I was comfortable with my bosses. They knew me. I knew them. I had favor with them. Yes.
Everything is well.
Everything was so well, such that I would carry my Sunday school work, because then I was a superintendent. I would carry it to the office. Yes, I would carry it to Moi University, and I would spread it on the tables there, and I would just be cutting my things with manilas. And my boss would even leave his office, and he's like, "Oh, you're doing Sunday school work. When you're done, you type for me this letter." Yeah, type for me this letter. It was just common. People would just be walking into, and they know she usually does her Sunday school work even in the office. Sometimes even my boss would come and would be like, leave Sunday school kwanza. Do for me this, then you can continue with your Sundays. Then you'd even be looking and saying, oh, what's this? Like, oh, the kids are going to do what? This is a craft we are working on. Oh, okay. But do for me this letter first, then you can continue with your Sunday school. So I had even arranged my things over there. I used to work. I used to do the Sunday school work, from the office, and I would be like, so it would just be 50-50. It was my office work, and I would also be working for the doing the university
and that's
work.
Also, it's good to also clarify, Kwamba, you never let the responsibilities, you never let the Sunday school things you are doing interfere with what was important there.
No.
Yeah. Some people can use that as,
no.
And then they neglect their primary.
It was even difficult for my bosses to let go of me. I mean, it's true.
You delivered.
They are watching. I did.
So
I did, and I know I did, and yes.
So that gave them the allowance.
Yes, I knew that work comes
first.
Yes, that one comes first. So they had allowed me. You do. And even when we would be having things like even VBS or something, either I would take leave. If I wasn't able to take my leave, or my leave wasn't due or something, I would just talk to my boss. I'll tell him there's that thing in church again that happens in the morning. Yes. So so then he would tell me, oh, that whatever it is you usually have. So what are you saying? So this week I'll be coming in the afternoon. He would be like, fine, you come in the afternoon, you'll make up. So I would go for VBS, then I would go to work. And work in the afternoon till evening. And
so you had good work ethic that bought for you the favor and
yes.
the permissions that you needed.
Yes.
Yeah. Good. Okay, continue.
And then, at the university we used to have strikes. We had our union, and our union officials would go and they would find out, oh, there was some money we were supposed to be given, and we've not yet been given. These promotions are due. And then there would be strikes, and now when there would be a strike, they would we go carrying leaves and chanting and and then so on these days when that would be happening, you can't be in the office because you're a traitor.
Yes, you should be in the union.
Yeah, you should be. You're actually a traitor because you also want that
yes.
money. But now I would take advantage. I would be looking forward to the next strike. And when they would just announce a strike, first day one, I would go and show solidarity for a while. From there, I'm in church. I would be doing my Sunday school things, and I would be like, we are on strike. So I would be in church.
You have time.
Yes, I have time. So any little excuse, whenever there was a strike, I would be like, at least day one, I was seen. I was there with them. I carried leaves for a short while. And I would make sure I even talk to the officials.
They see you there.
Yes, so that I have registered. They will say, no, that one we saw her. She was there. She even came and greeted us and said, yeah, it's good you're fighting for us. But then I would just be for a while. That then I would climb a vehicle and I'm in church. And I'm working and I'll just be calling and saying, so they've said the strike is still on even tomorrow. People are not there. Yeah, so no one expects me, so I would be in church. So now that comes to number 3. I told God, you know, in the university there is so much freedom, and I'm so much able to serve you. You know, I'm able to serve you. There's freedom. First of all, my bosses are very, very understanding about my responsibilities in church. They are very understanding. When I tell them it's something church, they are like, okay, go do your church things and then come back. And then you see, even when there are strikes, I'm able to go to church, and you know, so it's a good place because it favors it favors church and ministry. Then God told me, yeah, actually it's a good place. Your bosses even understand when you need something, when you need permission to do something of church, they tell you, okay, fine, you go do your church things and you'll come back. And also there are strikes every now and then, and every time there are strikes, you're in church. So God was like, so this is what I'm asking you to do. Instead of waiting for strikes and asking for permission, now I'm asking you to just come and sit here. Just come and be here where you want to be, instead of waiting, when there'll be a strike, I'll go to where I want to be. And then whenever there's something to be done where I want to be, I'll ask for permission and I'll be given the permission. And once in a while, when it wasn't possible, it wasn't like always possible. Yes, genuinely not possible. So God was just so God told me, so now what I'm telling you is just come and be, so that you're not waiting for be where you want to be. So the 3. So from there I was like, I'm done. So then I said in January 2012, I said, yes, okay, let me trust you. But we had gone through many other things. I was like, how am I going to put food on my table? How am I going to survive? But by 2012 January, we had gone through all this with God, and I was like, yes. And I went and I drafted a resignation letter, and I was like, tell me when to hand it in. And he's like, wait. And you know, I came into full-time ministry in 2016. From 2012, the letter? I drafted my letter in 2012 January. I remember I would read it every day and I would be like, okay, God, so me. When is it? So actually from that time on, my heart had departed from the university. I was just putting my things in order, but I was just putting my house in order, but then I knew. So now I was doing everything I had ever procrastinated. You know, like I needed to redo these files. I needed to do these books this way. I needed to make the students' records this way, and then this needed to be this. I was like, now do everything you've been procrastinating and saying one day I'll do this. That's what I was doing. So that you don't leave also that side feeling you left something undone. No. Good. That's also good. Yes. But when now God, 4 years later, God is, how did that day happen? How did you feel this is the day? How I felt this is the day. You know, like every day I used to keep praying and saying, when do I print this letter? And I would feel like God just saying, just wait, you'll print it. I'll tell you when to print it. I'll tell you when to print it. And then there was, now I wasn't as comfortable as I was. But then in 2015, I felt lost. Okay, there was a time I flew out. I went to Totola in 2015, and I went for 3 months. Then when I came back and I went back to the office, I was actually lost. Then I thought, no, well, you've been away. You've never been away 3 months. But then I felt lost. I actually felt like a stranger. I felt like I was in a strange place. Even 1 year down the line, I was still feeling, I just felt lost. Like even the joy.
Maybe what you're saying is what you can say. It was God who was making that place good for you.
Yes, that's what I realized.
Now the cloud has moved, it has come to church, and you're still there.
Yeah. Because I'll tell you something, all the time that I was working there at the university, I wouldn't lie to you, I loved that job. And job satisfaction, I loved that job. I would even be sleeping at night, and I'm imagining, oh yeah, tomorrow when I go, first of all, I'll do the letters for attachment, then I'll do the recommendation letters for students, then I'll do the filing, then I looked forward to it. I would even be thinking at night. I actually loved that. I enjoyed that job. I loved it. In fact, that's why even when God was calling me, I was like, but okay, it's working. I can still serve you. I'm still serving you in church, and I'm still doing this job that I love so much. And I would be like, let me just go now. I know the students will be coming with all their inquiries and everything, and I'll just be looking forward to serving those students.
Yeah, which is a good point. You don't have to, for God to call you, you don't have to hate the job that you're doing.
Yes.
Sometimes you're enjoying what you're doing,
but
still God wants you. It's even a better enjoyment He's calling you to.
Yes.
So the morning you handed in the letter.
So now come to hand in the letter. And you know, now all along, then I shared with Pastor Rick and Auntie Carol in that January 2012. Yeah, so they were praying with me, and they told me, you know what, in God's time, things are just going to fall in place. Just keep submitting. And I remember even Pastor Rick telling me, keep working at the university, keep a positive attitude, and just let's see how and God will cause things to just work out the way they are supposed to, work out. And then now come this time when I'd flown out, come back, I was totally lost, and I was telling Auntie Carol, you know what, I feel lost. I'm not even understanding myself. I feel lost. And then the joy was gone. Yeah, the joy was gone. Now I was wondering, but I've always loved this job, but now I would be sitting in that office and I'm like,
there are better things to do.
Yeah, I don't want to be here. Yeah, you know, I don't want to be here. I'm not looking forward to this job and everything. Yes, and so they told me, well, you come now to the church where God started with me. Yes, they told me, but just wait. We'll talk to the. Let's see how when we share with the elders what we can do, and then. Yeah, you can be like a children's minister. We've never had that. So I thought, yeah, let me just wait. I'll go be a children's minister. So then, now I was waiting. I was told your case is with the elders. They'll see what to do. Maybe if you can be a children's minister. And I was like, okay, yeah, children's minister. So I thought this is some unique post because it had never been there. Then I'll be their minister in Sunday school. But then all along, even God, there was something He had spoken to me. I remember when I was on the plane coming from Totola, I think it must have been from Amsterdam to Nairobi. I remember I was just sitting there and God was like, I'm leading you, I'm guiding you. Just keep moving. And the door that I open, just the door that will be open, that's where you're going. Yeah, so don't be worried, don't worry now what's going to become of my life, and I don't know, God, what you're saying and everything. And so I remember He just told me, just be still and know that I'm God. Just be still and know that I'm God, and just move, and the door that opens, that just go through the door that I'll open, and just be still. So all along, even when I was uncomfortable, I was just like, okay, be still and know that I'm God. Be still and know that I'm God. And I remember even, you know these things, they seep out sometimes. And a few people even approached me in church and they were like, is what we are hearing right? We understand you're coming. Are you sure? And I would be like, oh God, maybe I should just stay at the university. I'm more familiar with that. But when I would go, I am so uncomfortable. I know I can't stay here. God is just, he's done with me. Then I wasn't even as efficient and it wasn't intentional. Yeah, like I started realizing mistakes I had never made I had never made those mistakes for the longest time. And now like
suddenly
I was making them. Yeah, there were some things I used to do so efficiently, and now then I realized, but how did you do this? How did you put this document here? And you know it's always. So anyway, so I was just there, but then that value of decision is not an interesting place. Now that's not now that's not a place I want to go back to. That valley of decision was not
the place between Egypt and Canaan.
Yes. Where you have already told God yes. You have already told him yes, and you're already moving and you don't know where you're going to.
Yeah.
I don't know what my future is, and I was just there. And we were praying with Auntie Carol. I would just tell her how I was feeling, and she's like, just be still. And then God also, he was like, just be still. Just wake up in the morning, do what you're supposed to. Just keep moving. And yeah. Just accept, I'm taking you where you'll be. So then I remember, I knew, okay, it's this unique role. I'll be a children's minister. I'll just be in Sunday school, basically, period. Then I remember I was a student at Global University, still am. And I was seated there, and Elder Fred, then he was elder. He came and I was seated. The class was over. And I was doing an assignment or something, and he comes and he tells me, here is your letter. Yes. Wow. My heart raced. You know, I was like, what? Lord, am I sure?
So you got this letter from church before you resigned? Or you had resigned?
Yes. Okay. No, I hadn't resigned. Now is when God was like, he was just like, just keep waking up every day. I'll keep guiding. Like now, I was actually literally living by the second. God tells you do this. Wake up, go to work. Yeah, come back home. Nothing new. Go to work. Come back home. Just move. Yes, it was just like prompting me just by the minute. So I haven't even resigned, but the letter is there, but that prompt has not come. Print it. You know, it had always been there. Yeah. So now he brings, and I'm like, okay, if they are giving me an appointment letter, it means then finally
it has happened.
Yeah, I have to print that letter.
The other one.
The one that I was, you know, when I first said yes to God in 2012, I was dying to print that letter that year. I don't know how somehow that year I was like, I'm going, and then it's like, okay, wait, and I'm there. Then now, finally, when it's drawing closer, it was scary. It was scary. Yeah. It was scary. Yeah, it wasn't easy. It was scary. I remember just looking at, and my hands were shaking, and I was like, Lord, wait, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? I mean, now here it is. So meaning, I'm actually living. How is my life going to be? And then, and when I opened the letter, that's the first time I was seeing pastor in charge of Sunday school. Actually, that's the first time. Even God had never told me pastor. He never told me pastor, but he told me, you're full time. You're coming to work with. I knew I was coming to work with kids, but pastor. So I remember when I saw pastor, I was like, hey, no, this is such a big
title. Yeah,
this title. No, not yet. Not this title. Pastor. And I was like, okay. But then again, you know the way you're communing with the Holy Spirit. And then God just reassured. When I was in the global class, like, this is what it was all about. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, like, this is it. So I was like, oh, but they've used a big word. Anyway, I thought, well, it's a word. So that's how I took it. But again, when that voice came, you know, like, this is it. Because I was now debating and saying, pastor, and this is it. But there was I was scared. Then, yeah, after seeing it again, there was some peace. You know, that value of decision. It was mixture. Okay. By then, it was very scary. It was very scary. It wasn't even like too interesting. And so I remember immediately, that was a Saturday. Monday, I just changed the date and I printed. But my boss then, her name is Dr. Irene Musisi. She was my friend. She's born again. So she had an idea she didn't have an idea my work. She knew my work. And so that Monday morning, I remember when she came in and she went into her office, I printed and I told her, Irene, she just looked at me and told me, don't tell me you're resigning.
God had prompted
then you know what she tells me? I knew it was coming, but I didn't imagine it was this soon. I didn't imagine today. I knew it was coming.
It was being seen on your face even.
She just told me, I knew, I had not even told her, I just told her, Irene, I want to talk to you. And she's like, don't tell me you're resigning. I told her.
Finally.
Yeah, and she tells me, I knew it was coming. I just didn't know it was this soon. She's like, we were friends. We were actually friends. We used to ride together. Yeah, to work. I used to ride a lot in her car. Yeah, you know, she was the kind of boss. So what time are we leaving? You finished your work? And I would be like, yeah, let me just finish what I'm doing. And she would be like, finish, then we go together. So tomorrow, she would tell me, tomorrow, by the way, I'm coming in early. See, we can go together. Where do we meet? Town. And we'd ride together to work and come back. And she'd be like, tomorrow, I'm coming late. I have a few things to do, so you go to office early. And I would come to office early. And sometimes she would wake up and she tells me, today, now I have to leave now early. But you're busy. And I would tell her, I needed to finish this. And she'd be like, oh, you leave early, I wait for you. I tell her, you can give me like 30 minutes, I finish this and we leave. You can imagine that kind of a boss. Yeah. And we leave.
You can say thank you to her.
Yeah.
Say thank you to her.
Dr. Irene, thanks so much. You are such a wonderful boss. Yeah,
it's good actually for people to know. And people may be having bosses, they can never imagine somebody having a boss like that. It's good to know that she was a believer. It made a difference.
Yes.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, and even at times she would offer me that ride, and I would be like, hey, Irene. No, I just called her Irene. Tell her, hey, Irene. Yani, if I see all these letters I have to do and this,
just go.
Just go. Okay. Today I'm here until even probably after 5, and she would be like, Sawa, then I'm leaving you. We'll see you. Yeah. And she was my friend together with even her family. They are my friends even until today. The husband and the kids. I became a family friend. So then I
finished there,
printed the letter. I gave it to her. She forwarded it because it had to go through the HOD and then through the dean. But when it got to the dean, he refused to sign it.
They're losing you.
Yeah, and then, okay, the dean was also like a friend of my late dad, and now he's also late, Professor Wamukoya. Yeah, and he was like, this Muze's daughter is making a mistake, and Muze is not there. We are the ones to advise her. Yeah, so he calls my boss Irene, and he talks to her and he says, you forwarded this, does she know what she's doing? And Irene is like, she's made up her mind. And she even came back and she told me, you know, the dean was asking me why I forwarded your letter instead of maybe talking to you or cancelling you, you know.
So for them it was a cancelling issue.
Yeah, you know, I needed to cancel you. I was supposed to cancel you. And I told him, you have made up your mind. I know, and he's not believing. Actually, that letter was on his desk for maybe a week. They were thinking I've made a mistake. So
giving you time to change your mind.
Giving me time to, you know, like, are you sure you want to make this decision? Then I was even called and they said, you know what, you could take a sabbatical. You know, there's that option of
think through.
Think through, because there was that option at the university. People used to take sabbaticals, and it's known this one has gotten greener pastures, but they are going to test the greener pastures. Then if it works, they'll come back. Okay, Now this is another thing. When that came, you know this, I was still in the valley of decision. I went back home and I was like, actually, God, no, my bosses are right. You know, I'm not refusing. I've signed even the letter in church. Let me just take a sabbatical, and here I tell them I'm going for a year, then I'll come back. Again, God spoke to me. He told me, if you want to take a sabbatical, that's okay. The decision is yours, and you have that option. You know, you're working for the university, and there's that facility. You can actually take a sabbatical. It depends on you. Although that's not my will, it depends on you. But just know, if you take a sabbatical, it means one foot is in the university, and one foot is in the ministry. And whatever I want to give you, I'll give you half, because you're giving me half of you, and half of you is still there. So that's your decision to make. But just know, if you come, I'll not give you everything I have, because you're also not giving me the whole of you. You're part of you still. Oh, that's when I decided, okay, if that's the case, then let me take this risk. Let me dare you. Let me try you, God. Let me try you. Let me give you the whole of me. And that's when I came, and yeah, I told the dean, yes, I'm resigning. I'm sure. I'm sure. You're sure? You're sure?
So it's very interesting, because when people make that transition from secular, safe jobs to ministry, that fear is there. But rarely is it the other way around. When people are leaving ministry to go to secular job, because there is an aspect that there's a sad thing, because we think that is also a test. Who do we trust most, money or God?
Yes.
Because that is bottom line. Finally, you're thinking money is most trustable.
Yes.
If I have it, but like you were saying, God is asking you, so your health. Can money give you that health?
Can the skin give you health?
Yeah.
It can give you medicine.
Yeah. Good. Now let's finish. I think we'll do it again next time. I know there's another story we'll talk about. But for now, thank you so much for your time. The passion is there. You can see, even just saying the story makes you excited about what God is doing in your life.
Yeah.
Thank you for serving the church and serving the children. God is aware of that. Thank you for making that decision to be part of ministry and in this church. You made a big difference. What would you finally say to people who are in that kind of valley? I know there are many.
Yes.
What can you tell them?
What I can tell them is, if it is God telling you, do it. Do it. You won't regret. Like I can tell you from the bottom of my heart, I have never, ever, ever, ever regretted just answering to the call of God, saying yes and coming into full-time ministry. I have never regretted. And also those people who are in the, there are different kinds of valleys. Yes, if it's the voice of God, obey. There are many people in earlier on who had been telling me, oh, you don't even belong there. You belong to children. You belong to the ministry. But I thank God that I didn't listen to them, because I would have moved prematurely. Yes. In fact, there was one who once told me, you see, we used to tell you. And I was like, yeah, that was you. If I moved because you told me, that was different. But I moved because God said it is time. Yeah. So if it is God, move. Yes.
That's very important, because you are trusting someone. That is faith now. It's not in events, circumstances, money. It is someone you have a relationship with, and this is how they speak, and you want to do things when they say you do the things, and that is God. So thank you so much for your time. God bless you. See you next time. Bye bye.
See you.